So class 11, we will continue with our chapter Constitution from your political science syllabus. In the earlier two videos, you have learned about the definition of the Constitution and learn about the written and unwritten Constitution. Today, we will take up the remaining portion of the chapter. On the basis of the method of amending the constitution, it is again classified into rigid and flexible constitution. That is, if a constitution can be easily amended or we can easily make changes in the constitution, then it is called a flexible constitution. And if a constitution cannot be easily amended, it is called a rigid constitution. The best example of a rigid constitution is that of the Constitution of United States of America. Like other constitutions, the rigid constitution also has some merits of its own. Firstly, a rigid constitution is considered to be stable and permanent. That is, as it is a written constitution, generally rigid constitutions are written one. They cannot be easily amended, so it is stable, it is permanent, it stays for a longer period of time simply because of the fact that it cannot be easily amended. Second merit of a rigid constitution is that it enjoys sanctity. That is, as it cannot be easily altered or as it cannot be changed according to the wish of those who are governing or according to the wish of the people, so it enjoys a sacred place, it enjoys a sanctity. We can say that that is, it is a stable, permanent constitution. It cannot be easily altered, and that gives it a position much higher than that of a flexible constitution. The third merit of a rigid constitution is that a federation needs a rigid constitution. That is, it is absolutely necessary for a federation to have a rigid constitution because of the distribution of powers. It cannot be altered according to the wish of the central and the state government. So, for that reason, a rigid constitution is absolutely necessary. The fourth merit is that in a rigid constitution, the rights of the people are secured. Why it is said so? Because because a constitution cannot be easily amended, so the rights that have been provided by the constitution to the people, they are secured, they are safeguarded. If changes need to be made, then that has to be done according to the procedure laid down by the constitution. This safeguards the rights of the people. But it also suffers from some demerits, like it cannot be easily amended, which often cause problem for the governing or those who are governing the state. It is static, not dynamic. Why? Because changes cannot be incorporated, then it lags behind. Behind the time, it cannot incorporate the changes that are taking place in the social, political, or the economic life of the people living in the state. And as it cannot be amended, the wish of the people are often not fulfilled, or they cannot be their desires, their aspirations cannot be incorporated in the constitution, and that invites conflicts and civil war within a state. It also develops conservatism. It is related to the second demerit, that is, as it cannot be easily amended. So what we find that it is conservative in nature. It cannot accept the changes that are taking place, and it lags behind. So these are the merits and demerits of a rigid constitution. Next, we come to the flexible constitution. As I have already told you, that a constitution that can be easily amended or it can be changed, then that is known as a flexible constitution. The Constitution of Britain is the best example of a flexible constitution. And the merits of a flexible constitution are that it can be easily changed like ordinary law. It does not require a separate procedure for changing the constitution. The way a law is made in the legislature, in the similar way, it can be changed. It does not require any such procedures, and it is suitable in emergencies because it can easily accommodate or incorporate the changes that are needed. So it is suitable for taking care of emergency situations. It is adaptable in nature because it is a flexible constitution. It does not require an elaborate method of amending the constitution. So it is adaptable to the changes that are taking place in the society. It can easily accommodate those changes in the constitution. Moreover, a flexible constitution does not need the development of extra constitutional methods, because whatever changes required in the constitution that can be easily made, it does not require any extra constitutional means. The demerits of a flexible constitution are that it fails to command prestige. The sacredness or the sanctity that is enjoyed by the rigid constitution is not found in case of flexible constitution because of the frequent changes that can take place in a flexible constitution. Moreover, the minority interest cannot be safeguarded. It is a constitution that can be easily amended, so the interest of the minority may not be safeguarded in a flexible constitution. And often we find that contradictory changes are made. That is, some changes are made which may be not in keeping with or contradictory to the original principles or to the original ideas of the constitution. And as the constitution can be easily changed, so what we have seen that it can be easily changed or frequently changed by those who are there in the power. They change the constitution for their own benefit, and this results in frequent changes in the constitution, which again fails to command and which again make it difficult for a flexible constitution to enjoy the same position or to command prestige like that of a rigid constitution. So these are the merits and demerits of both rigid and flexible constitution. Next we will take up the differences or the distinction between the two types of constitutions. The differences or the distinction between rigid and flexible constitution can be summarized as a rigid constitution cannot be easily amended, and as it cannot be easily amended, so it is not adaptable to the changes that are taking place. Whereas in case of a flexible constitution, we find that it can be easily amended, and it is very adaptable to the changes that are taking place. It can easily incorporate those changes in the constitution. A rigid constitution is generally a written constitution as that of United States, whereas a flexible constitution is generally an unwritten constitution as that found in Britain. The next difference or the next distinction between the two is that in case of a rigid constitution, we find that the judiciary is supreme because it's a written constitution. It cannot be changed. The judiciary interprets the constitution. The judiciary is supreme or in regard of the constitution, or it has the final say regarding the provisions in the constitution. In case of a flexible constitution, we find that the legislature enjoys supremacy as in case of Britain. A rigid constitution is absolutely necessary for a federation because in a federation there is distribution of power and authority, and for this a rigid written constitution is absolutely necessary. Whereas a flexible constitution is not suitable for a federation. Again, a rigid constitution, because of its lack of adaptability to the changes, is not suitable for tackling emergency situations because the changes cannot be done immediately. It takes a time for to incorporate the changes, whereas in case of a flexible constitution, we find that it is suitable for emergency situation as there is no such formality for changing the constitution. So these are the differences between the two, and today we have mainly discussed about the rigid and the flexible constitution, their merits and demerits, and the distinction between the two.